Boy, I got my work cut out for me on this particular door. Okay, I got that hinge down. I got this hinge done here. And the door is still hanging up at the bottom, which I thought it would. But I don't want to, here's the thing, I don't want to mess with this door at all until I get done over with this hinge side. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do something that you may have never known on this hinge to make this tighter. And usually your gap, you don't want your gap much smaller than that. You see that nice gap there? But because there is a slight gap, I know that this door can go over to the existing door jamb just a little bit more, don't I? Even if it's not, not rubbing, but just pushed up tight. I know that, just that little bit. Hey, does size matter? Yes, of course it matters, and I'll show you why next. Class is now open. There's the top hinge to the door. And if you look on that, you're gonna see that it's got different nodules on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look really carefully, because sometimes there'll be 3 on the door and 2 on the door jamb. But in our case, if I look on there, I know this second one and the fourth one, whatever, is going to the door. Okay, so those are the 2 I'm going to work on. Okay, so I've got to pull this door off of the door hinges to do this next step. But what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to tell you real briefly. I'm going to take this nib, just this, and I'm going to bend it over towards the door. I'm going to take this one and bend it over to the door. And then when I put it back up, can you see that if this is bent over about a 1/16 or so, that I'll then be able to push this over further, and these other 3 on the door jamb is going to hold this door in place, and it's going to move it over that little bit. Okay, that's my next step. Now, I didn't want to do that first because I thought maybe I could move the jamb over a little bit, because sometimes that works a little bit and then you don't have to do this next step, or maybe you don't have any room at all. But because we do, that's going to be our next step. So it's time to remove this door. Okay, I'm kind of limited with my work area, but I'm going to pop these pins out. And it's nice on this particular one that the pins aren't tapped all the way in. If they were, I'd have to go in from the bottom and pop it up, and sometimes there's a little goodie on the bottom where you can't get something big enough in there, and then you got to put a little finish nail in there and tap on that or whatever. I don't have to do that. I'm going to just take a screwdriver and I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to take the bottom one off first, and I just hang on to it, set it down. And sometimes these are greasy, so you have to be careful with them, especially if you got carpet down. In this case, we just got plywood floor. I want to make sure that the door's open just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take the top one off last. Like that. And usually the door will stay up there. Okay, now I can slide the door over a little bit, hang on to it, and gently pull it off. Like that. Okay? That's your next step.